I just found out some of the mind-blowing capabilities that ChatGPT could do to students who are studying for exams, quizzes. This blew my mind away, and I'm pretty sure it will save you a lot of time and stress in terms of studying. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. So the first thing that I want to tell you guys that you guys could do with ChatGPT is to actually ask it to quiz you questions, or a multiple choice type of practice question with ChatGPT, where it'll ask you question by question, and you have to answer A, B, C, or D, and then it'll tell you if it's right, and if you're wrong, then it'll explain to you why you're actually wrong on that answer. So I wrote this prompt down for myself, and it says, can you quiz me 10 multiple choice questions on the parts of an animal cell and its definitions? Hide its answers and ask each question one by one. If I'm right, continue on. If I'm wrong, give me an explanation and then continue on. And I'm just gonna hit enter and see what it comes up with. And as you can see, this works with different topics, like if you're studying history, English, literature. Here's the first question: which organelle is responsible for generating energy in animal cells? Now, I don't know my biology too well, so pardon me in that aspect, but I would best believe that the best answer for this is A, the mitochondria. So I could literally just type in A in the chat, hit enter, and it gives me correct. Mitochondria are responsible for generating energy in animal cells, so on and so forth. And you can see here that it's literally giving you multiple choice questions, and it's asking you one by one, just as how you asked it for it to do. So which organelle is responsible for processing and packaging proteins in animal cells? I don't even know. I'm just gonna say mitochondria again, because I know that's the wrong answer. And let's just see what happens if you get it wrong. So there you go. So it's gonna give me, again, a very, very good explanation that it's not correct. The correct answer is D, the Golgi apparatus. The Golgi apparatus is responsible for processing and whatever. So it's giving me the answer, and it's giving me the definition of why I'm wrong. Now, I have mentioned before that ChatGPT does not always get the correct information all the time. So in that aspect, you could actually copy paste your own sets of terms and definitions, and ChatGPT could use those sets to generate and play you a little game of multiple choice questions. Number two is that you could ask ChatGPT to make a table for you regarding terms, definitions, and pretty much useful information that you need to know within the columns. So here, let me give you another example. So I'm just gonna go back to that animal cell thing that I was talking about and ask for it to give me a table. All right, so I just asked ChatGPT right here, can you give me a table form of the different parts of the animal cell, its definition and function, along with a real life analogy to make me understand it better? So I'm just gonna hit enter here, and let's see what it comes up with. All right, so here we go. As you can see, ChatGPT has come up with a lot of information and material. So let's just take a look at, one of them, for example. So let's just say the nucleus. The definition of the nucleus is that it's an essential organelle that contains the cell's genetic material, which is the DNA, and controls the cell's activities. Function, again, regulates the expression of genes. It controls the cell's growth, division, and differentiation. The best part about this is, again, I asked it for a real life analogy on how the nucleus is, and it actually gave it to me right here. The nucleus is like the CEO of a company, controlling the activities and growth of the company. It really just makes sense to come up with real life analogies to, ensure that you understand this concept better, because then they put it in simpler terms and concepts that you're already familiar with. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna ask it another question. This time it's gonna be history related. I'm gonna ask it, can you give me a table form of different events of World War II, the significant figures, a quick recap of what happened and why it was important and crucial at the time? All right, so there you go. See, as you can see here, it literally generated a whole table with different columns of the event, the date. So I'm gonna just copy this, and this is what I love about it, is like you could literally copy this table, go on a Google Docs, an empty Google Docs document, and just paste it. And I could always reformat this table if I want to, but you could always just plop it in and essentially just keep it and print it out, if you ever need a study sheet or something, and it's straight from ChatGPT. Now, tip number 3 in terms of studying different concepts is that you could actually ask ChatGPT to explain to you harder concepts that you can't grasp or that you're just struggling to understand with. And here I have a prompt of, can you explain the concept of supply and demand in economics, which is, again, very, very simple concept, but let's just see how ChatGPT comes up with this. All right, so here you go. So ChatGPT just came up with this response for me, and it is pretty lengthy. And like I said, again, I don't really want to read this whole thing or really understand what it is. I'm going to ask it for a real life world analogy of, let's just say, an ice cream shop, right? Like, how does supply and demand work in an ice cream shop that could further explain this point in economics? So there you go. Now it's already generating this prompt with the ice cream shop and the supply and demand concept in economics. It's giving me a real life example, like, oh, if the temperature outside increases, more people start craving ice cream, and that's a rise in demand. On the other hand, let's just say a new ice cream shop opens up down the street and gives a cheaper price, then your demand would lower. There you go. You could definitely tell how very thorough ChatGPT is in terms of explaining things, and this can be useful for many different things and many different concepts and theories. All right, number 4 is going to be using ChatGPT to break down your paragraphs and structures of sentences to help you improve in your writing style and just kind of critique it and see what it says. So for example, here I have my college research paper, and if in an exam, for example, they want to ask for you to write a short response sentence or a paragraph regarding something, you want to make sure you have a good flow and good structure in your sentences, right? All right, so I wrote down, in a table format, please break down this piece of text I wrote and let me know if I have a good structure or flow and if there are any critiques that I can implement. Again, this would definitely work if you're taking an exam that has a short free response question, because you could practice that, write that response down, and then eventually throw it to ChatGPT to break it down for you to see if you have a good flow and good understanding concept of that short response question. All right, so as you can see here, ChatGPT was able to successfully break down my main points from that big paragraph into different sections and what content was in that section particularly. On the bottom of its critique, so it says, overall, the structure and the flow of the text are good. It gave me suggestions, such as one suggestion for improvement would be to provide more information on the advantages and disadvantages of each medium of video games. So again, I could always expand more on the critique. So I could say, expand more on what you mean. All right, so I'm just straight up telling this ChatGPT to give me a text example so I could gather preferably some inspiration on what to add on to my short free response question. And boom, lo and behold, it actually generated pretty much a paragraph for each of the sections that I talked about, because in my main text I talked about PC gaming, console gaming. I also talked about virtual reality here and mobile gaming as well, and it did an amazing job in terms of breaking that down and actually providing more detail and insight with the respective mediums of video games. And last but not least, number 5 is going to be using ChatGPT to help you break down your schedule to essentially study efficiently and not cram everything all at once, and just kind of helps you time manage when you should study which sections and what day you should prepare for. All right, so here you go. I have my ChatGPT prompt saying that I have an exam coming up in 5 days. Again, this is taking this mock economic exam. I'm kind of giving it fake page numbers, and I want to see how it's going to respond in terms of scheduling my week. All right, so there you go. Now you don't have to worry anymore, because now ChatGPT kind of gives you a schedule of, hey, this is how you're supposed to study for your exam effectively, so you're not cramming everything. Okay, so here we go. I do have a more general and broad topics, such as the animal cells. And now I just asked ChatGPT saying, I have an exam on the different parts and functions of the animal cell. Help me break it apart so I can study it in 5 days evenly without cramming everything all at once. So for the first day, you can see that we were studying the cell membrane, its structure and function, cytoplasm. But you can definitely see here how ChatGPT could be very, very useful in terms of scheduling out things throughout your week and not having you cram everything all at once to strategically manage your time and actually get that good grade that you want in your exam. So with these 5 hacks that I have for you in terms of studying your exams and quizzes, I hope that they're very, very helpful, and I wish you the best of luck in your upcoming exams. Now, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like and hit the subscribe button down below, and I will see you guys all in the next video.